Bhoqure here, and I'm bringing you a video showing you how to edit and make Shopkeepers customly on your server. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do, obviously, is to have a server and have it ready. If you want to do that, you're going to have to look to other videos, because this is just showing the editing and making a custom shopkeeper in the Pixelmon mod. I will be having a couple examples of what you need in the video description, just so you can copy and paste if you really need to make sure you have things correct. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want is a server. The next thing, after you have the server, you're going to want to go to config and go to pixelmon.hocon and open it. Alright, now you're going to be at the top right here for the most part. If you want to edit the shopkeepers, you're going to have to go down until you get to use external structures files. Normally it says false. For this though, if you want to edit shopkeepers, you're going to want to set this to true. After you do that, you're going to want to run your server, and it'll generate a Pixelmon folder right here of NPCs and structures. Okay. After you do that, make sure to back up your server. That way, if you have any NPCs, it won't get rid of them. Because if you mess up on any of the coding that I'm about to show you, it will reset every single Pixelmon NPC in the game. So if you had about 20 trainers or a couple other things, and you edit something and it goes wrong, it'll delete every single one of them. So before you even start to edit shopkeepers, you will want to back up your server. Alright, so the next thing you want to do, you want to go to the NPCs, shopkeepers. In this, you will have a lot more than what I have. I am just using this because this is one I made and it actually works really well. The files you're going to be using is any file in here, NPCs, and shop items. Now, once you get all this set up, what I did, I just copied and pasted. I took one of the things, copied it, and pasted it, and then I just edited the name. One thing you're going to want to do though, you're going to want to keep ENUS, get rid of the copy, and change it to whatever you want. So I'm just going to change this to Quillamart 2. I'll rename it to Example 1. And I don't believe you should have spaces in there because it won't work whenever you try to add it into anything. So if you have spaces, use the underscore. Otherwise, it will not work. The next thing you want to do if you're making a custom shop is go to the npcs.json, open it. And when you open it, you'll have a bunch of list of things. You're going to want to go to the very bottom. You'll have you'll have a bunch of lists of things. What you want to do, you're going to want to copy and paste. And so for mine was example 1. Okay. One thing you're going to want to do though, if you're doing this, make sure if you have another one added, make sure there's always an apostrophe after these brackets. And if it's the last one, you don't want to have a comma. Otherwise, it will not. It'll not work. Another thing is for text edit. I believe this is text edit for the Mac. If you change anything, the quotes will change. You're going to want to put them back to how they should be. Otherwise, that will also make the coding not work for the game. So I have example 1. I have the shopkeeper in there. Now what you want to do is save it. After you save it, you're good. Now I'll open this to show you. This is a list of my stuff on here. You can change the names. All you want to do is copy and paste and just change the name and make sure you get the quotation marks correct. Make sure they're how they should be. And as you see at the very end, I don't have a comma here, meaning all of these names will be able to work. Now, this is some of the stuff that you can use to make a custom shop. So for mine, I have a Pokeball. For the name, you want to use Pixelmon semicolon item.pokeball, like that. That's the actual name of the thing. There is an easier way, which is like how I have coal, melon, and cookie. That's custom added. Now to add that stuff, you want to have shop items. With shop items, it gives you the list of stuff that you can buy and sell. If they don't have a buy, you cannot put them in a shopkeeper. If they have a sell, any shopkeeper you go to that item can be sold to the shopkeeper. If it has neither, it's just in there, and you can change it to however you like. Like I believe there is a couple of things in here that you can't see. These don't have buys. The prison berries, you can't buy them. You can sell them, you can't buy them. Now, if you were to add a buy to it, you could buy them at certain shopkeepers. So let's get to adding an item. I'm just going to, so say for instance you want wool. I'll give you two examples. Wool, which I'm just going to get rid of. Actually, I'll keep that there. It'll be okay. So wool is, you're going to want to have ID in the wool. You don't have to have the ID. You can actually get rid of it. What you really need, the main item, is right here. You need to have this line. That line is a must-have. The ID is for whenever you want to add it to a shopkeeper. And so if I wanted to add this, what I would do, I would copy and paste one. And then what I would do, I would get wool right there and paste it into melon. Put it in right there. But I don't want to do that at the moment, so let me open my example file so I can actually do it there. Alright, now that I have my example file, I'm going to get rid of my Quillamart. Don't need to save that. So I have the shop items, and so I'm going to add wool in here so you can buy it, just as an example. If you have the ID wool, you just need to copy this, put it in there as I had. Boom. Now if I save it, it'll be there. Next time I open my world, it'll be there. I'll show you at the very end that it's actually working. Alright, so let's say for instance, you don't have to have the ID as I said. You just have to have this. If you have an ID, you have to use the ID and not the name for it. If you have an ID, you have to use the name, the ID here. It's actually used mainly that way you can it makes it look a lot nicer compared to having all this. Alright, so let's use a mobhead. So this is a wither skeleton skull that one of the mobs dropped. I'm going to add a buy. You see it has no buy. I'll put a buy of 50 on it, just for the heck of it. I also need to add a buy to the wool. Hold on. Otherwise it won't work. So boom, it has a buy. We added that. We're also going to put a buy on the wither skeleton skull. Wrong thing. Boom. Now one thing you have to make sure to have, if it's an item that has, like, as you see Minecraft skull, there's a couple of them, like the creeper head, the player head, the wither skeleton skull, the skeleton skull, the zombie head. There's a couple of them. If you have an item that has multiple Minecraft semicolon skulls, you have to have the item data. So all you have to do is put it underneath of the skull and make sure you have the item data correct, and that's all you have to do. That'll make it correct. Make sure you have the comma at the very end here, and if you really wanted to, you could add the ID to make it a lot neater when you put it in the store. So I'm going to copy this and put it in and change it to mobhead. Alright, so I have it. Now, let me go over a couple more things in the shop. Because now that you have this, you're pretty set. Now, if you're adding anything, make sure you add maybe a couple at a time just to make sure you have everything correct. Start the server. If it's correct, go back, add a few more items. That way you don't add a whole bunch at once, and you can find the error a lot quicker by doing it that way. Instead of adding a whole bunch and you have an error. I did that at first, and I was asking questions, and I'm glad I ended up doing it the way I did. Even though it took me a couple hours just to add one by one all of these items, I actually did it every 3 times I added 3 items and did that. It worked really well. If I had a mistake, I went back, checked the 3, made sure I didn't have a mistake. A lot of the times is because I forgot to put a comma at the end, or I didn't correctly put the quotation marks as you should. They have to be like these that are in there. Now, let me go over some of the things. Okay, so it actually has a huge, like multi and rarity. Multi optional field defaults to 1, changes the cost of buying that item by that multiplier. So say you have a 1 multiplier. So for me, a Pokeball is 250 because I changed that. See, it in the actual, originally it was only 200, but I changed it to 250. So a multiplier will change it to, if I had this at 1, it'd probably add 1%. I actually don't really know how much that increases it by, but it increases it. I believe every time you buy it, it increases, or it might just be random. I don't know for sure. You're gonna have to. I'll have to look into that eventually, because for the most part, every time it goes up. It doesn't go lower. I've yet to see it lower than 250. I've seen it at 260, 270. The highest I've seen it was at 300. When it's in a shop, I think the more you buy, the higher it goes, or the less you buy, the lower it goes. I don't know entirely. So rarity. This is really nice. So as you see, I have Premier Ball here. It only show in the shop very rarely, and I have the revive in here as a 0.05. That's very rare. So at 1, it'll be common. It goes from 0 to 1. From 0, it won't show up, period, I believe. And anything near 1, it'll show up more. Now, if you don't have that, it will show up automatically. Alright, now that I have everything here, let me make sure I've saved everything. Okay, everything's saved. I am going to start up my server and show you guys the shop. Alright, so I'm back in, I have my server started. I'm about to go into the Pokemon Mart, and I'll show you what it is. Alright, so this is my Quillo Mart. I'll show you what it has in it. As you see, it's working entirely. See, as you see, Premier Balls here, Nest Balls here, the Coal Melon Cookie and everything. But as you see, Revive's not here. Antidote's here. Premier Ball, Antidote, and Revive have rarities. So it's every once in a while they won't be here. Yeah, see, Pokeball also has 275 instead of 250. It's okay. So let's go ahead and make the example. What you're going to want to do, you're going to want to go to the tools. There will be the NPC editor wand. When you go here, you're going to want to right click, go to create shopkeeper, and you'll get a shopkeeper. Depending on the models you put in, like I put them all in so I can have them all for that one person if I really want to. I like this one the most. You change the name if you put extra names in. Now, we made the example 1. So as you see, we have an example 1. Okay, he's going to be named Ethan. Alright, so we have him. Now let's actually see this. Okay, so the Pokeball, we have the Pokeball, the Nest Ball, the Potion, everything. They didn't show. Alright, so what happens if you spawn a shopkeeper and it starts off as this and you change it? It'll stay whatever the first one it landed on. So as you see, this doesn't have it. But I made this one and it started off as example 1. So as you can see, it did work. See, we have wool here and wither skeleton skull. So that works. Oh, this one actually is below 50. So it does go below. It doesn't often. But as you see, I added these two and it worked. This one's also the same. Now let me tell you this. Just because I'm on a Mac doesn't mean that you can't do this on a PC. A PC, you will be using Notepad to edit the files, while on a Mac, you will be using TextEdit. This can be done on either or, and it's done the same way, the same coding and everything. Well, guys, I hope you have a great day, and I hope this informed you on how to do this.